research our people that we're going to have. And so that's why we're going to have to learn about reference books. There's different kinds of reference books, and this particular PowerPoint will go through some of them. Now, I tried to bring in some actual copies of some of the reference books, but like it'll say an almanac, and all I could find was the Kids Almanac, which has lots of interesting facts about different things. There's an atlas, yeah, and this is a Kids Atlas, which just has maps that are smaller, and when an actual atlas would have big and it'd have a lot more roads. And then we have an encyclopedia, which an encyclopedia, usually most times I'm going to bet you'll see an encyclopedia on the computer. This is actually a hard copy of the M's, is what I have here.
What's an encyclopedia?
An encyclopedia has lots and lots of information about like everything. It's kind of like Wikipedia, except for it's not just anybody can write in it. They did a lot of research to get the information that are in these books.
Yeah, you have to.
See, well, like they have about a mandrill. Let's see, which is this monkey, and it'll give us a bunch of information about the monkey. Other resource books that you can have is a thesaurus. Does anybody know what a thesaurus is?
Yes,
okay. A thesaurus, there's some thesauruses back there. They're kid thesaurus, and they're really handy when you're trying to come up with a word that is like. It's like a dictionary, except for it just gives you words that are similar, that you could use in its place. So like if you're writing poetry, you might want to say, man, I want to say cute, but I need to find a different word, that'll want a different word for it that sounds better than cute. And so you would look in the thesaurus and find a different word, like beautiful or adorable or, yeah. And that's what would be under the thesaurus. And the dictionary is another research book, a reference book. So we have this where it has the reference books, and this will go through an atlas. It says, at last I can find where to go on a map using an atlas. The atlas is a book of maps. There are atlases for the entire world or just specific countries. That's the one that was like this Kids Roads Atlas, which had the little maps in it. But an atlas will have lots and lots of maps in it.
I have an atlas.
You do?
My grandma and grandpa have like this big book, and it's an atlas.
We've got the almanac. An almanac contains all the facts. Almanacs are updated books of facts. You often find statistics, such as winners of sporting events, populations of cities, etc. in an almanac. Yeah, see, like one of the, I'll just open it up to just a random page, and it says, make a splash. Butterflies are attracted to pools of water that are up to a foot deep. A butterfly's foot, that is. On a hot day, place a few smooth stones and some gravel in a saucer. Add enough water to wet but not cover the stones, and butterflies will perch on the stones and sip the water. I mean, it's just full of lots of interesting stuff. We've got dictionary. The dictionary gives the definition of a word. Find meanings and spellings of words in the dictionary. A dictionary is arranged in alphabetical order. Does anybody want to read this?
Me.
Okay. Tori, do you want to read the first bullet?
The
long name.
The long name is for a reference book with lots of information.
Okay, and Matthew, do you want to read the second one? If you need to, you can come a little closer. That word's encyclopedias.
Are used to took up facts on everything from animals to outer space.
And Elijah, do you want to read that third one?
Yes. Encyclopedias are typically in volumes by the first letter of the subject. Alaska will be found in the A in encyclopedia.
See, that's why I have two different books here. One has, which is a number 3, has all B words, and the second one I have is the 13, which has all M words.
Yeah.
And now we have the thesaurus. Like you said, it's not a dinosaur. Brooke, do you want to read the first one?
The thesaurus is a dinosaur that finds synonyms for words.
I don't know why it says it's a dinosaur. That's silly, isn't it? Okay, and let's see. Jesse, do you want to do the second one?
Sure. The thesaurus gives you synonyms.
Synonyms. That's a hard word to say, isn't it?
Such as small, tiny, little,
Microscopic. Or insignificant. I'm having trouble with this one. Insignificant.
Insignificant.
And a thesaurus is arranged in alphabetical order, just like a dictionary. So, in review, the 5 main reference books and print reference are the Atlas, the Almanac, the Dictionary, the Encyclopedia, and the Thesaurus. So now, I have some different scenarios. And actually, I think I will let you look at one. Let's see, I have one on the table. And we'll look, actually as a group, I'll look at the first one on each page, and then you can figure out the other 2 at the table. So, we'll start with this one back here. It says you're reading a book and come across the word serendipity. You have no idea what it means. What reference book would you use to figure it out? Does anybody have an idea if you didn't know the word serendipity, what you would use? Aaron? A dictionary. So let's see what's yours. What's your first one? Your cousins invited you to go to the Kentucky Derby this year. You've never heard of the Kentucky Derby before. What reference book might you use to learn more about the Kentucky Derby? Any ideas? An encyclopedia. Let's see what's your first one. You want to name your new dog something that means cute, but cute is a silly name for a dog. What reference book might you use to find a better name that means the same thing? Gio. Almanac? The almanac has, Elijah, can you tell Gio what an almanac has in it? Not quite sure yet? Can anybody tell Gio what the almanac had in it? Matthew?
It has maps in it.
Okay, so the almanac was like this little book.
What's that kid book?
Yeah, that kid book I had. And it had a bunch of what in it?
Information.
Facts. Yeah. So if you were looking for another word for cute, and that just happened to be the one that I discussed when we were discussing them. Does anybody know which book you would use?
Encyclopedia.
Aaron. Which one?
The dinosaur one?
The dinosaur one, the thesaurus.
It actually says thesaurus.
Yeah. And, okay, you're going on a trip to Mexico. You wonder what kind of food is served in Mexico and whether or not the people that live there dress the same as you. What book would you use to consult this information?
What's the almanac? I but it's so
That's actually kind of a tricky one.
I think the source. The source. The encyclopedia.
The encyclopedia would give you lots of information, wouldn't it?
The source.
Well, there's probably some in here. Now, I want you as a group, as your table, to discuss the other two that are on each page.
I'm not like cold. It's hot outside.
Naturally, we're good with this until we get to the resources anyway. Okay, so, thank you. Before spring break, we were discussing compound sentences and simple sentences. Is there anybody that can tell me what a compound sentence is? Jenny?
A compound sentence is when you put two sentences together and use a conjunction word in the middle. Like
Okay.
and, but, so, or.
Is there any other thing that we have to have besides just the conjunction?
Commas before the conjunction word.
Oh, very good. Now, can anybody tell me what a simple sentence is? Tori.
Just one sentence.
And what does it have in it?
A subject.
A subject and a predicate. Okay, and what is another name for a simple sentence? Bailey.
Independent clause.
Independent clause. There we go. And so I have these. It also has one more type of sentence on this particular little poster thing, but it's to remind us of what the simple sentence and the compound sentence is. It reminds us that a simple sentence contains a subject and a predicate and expresses a complete thought. An example is, the boys went to the park, or we like pizza. And the tip here is, a simple sentence is also called an independent clause. We've got the compound sentence contains two or more independent clauses, and clauses are joined by coordinating conjunctions. And an example is, the boys went to the park, but they did not go to the zoo. Or we like pizza and we like spaghetti. The tip is, look for these conjunctions: for, and, nor, but, or yet. And I'm just going to put these up here as a reminder. Here's a big one that with the simple sentences, and a small one with the simple sentences. Is everybody pretty sure what they know what the simple and the compound sentences are? Any questions?
No.
No? Okay, we are going to go over some together. Elijah, would you hand one of these out to everybody, and one of those out to everybody? And Bailey, one of these to everybody. We're going to go through some of these together. In fact, they will be 25, 26, 27, and 28 together. I've got smaller ones that just have one sentence on it that we'll put a few at each table, and your table will work together to figure out. No, they're different. I tried to get them both on the same page, just one on the back side, but I goofed up when I was printing. That's okay.
Wait, did they get two?
There's one page has 17 through 32 on it, and the other page has 1 through 16 on it. See, so they are different.
You have them. I have two of these.
Are they the same?
No.
They're not the same, see?
Like, you have them. I don't have it. I don't have two.
Okay, well, Elijah's still coming.
This is an interesting class when it comes to differentiation. There's one student in the class who is very low. In fact, when I've come up with projects for him to do, I have to go with first grade level, and this is a third grade class. And even the first grade level tends to be way too hard for him. He's supposed to have a para in there to help him, but it was decided when I was going to be in there that my main thing that I was going to be doing for most of the time was going to be helping this one student. But when I started teaching the class as a whole, he didn't have a para or anybody to help him anymore. So when we were in a whole group situation, what I do is I will ask him the easiest of the questions that I have, and I'll make sure that I'll have a question that I'm pretty sure that he can answer, and then I will ask him, because it does help him if he's able to answer some of the questions. And in the grammar part of this class, he will only have to do maybe the evens or the odds, or even less than that, in comparison to the rest of the class. And even that sometimes is more than he is capable of doing. There's another student in the class who wears hearing aids, and with him, he doesn't like any noise behind him. So with that, he's able to be towards the back of the class, and in the video, I had him come up closer so he could actually see the board to read it. And since this video took place, found out that need to be careful about letting him be in the back of the classroom so that there's nobody behind him, because he needs to be right in front of you when you're speaking. It really helps him understand what you're talking about. There's one other student in the class that he can get ESOL help. He has never spoken another language besides English as a full-time language, but both of his parents' first language was not English, so that he does hear another language besides English. This, with him, that I find that, yeah, I'll go ahead and use some of the things that I've learned in my ESO classes, which is a little bit more visuals. I find that the visuals is a very good thing to use with all of the students. That's why as you saw in this video, I had a PowerPoint. I find that PowerPoints, it's on the board, they're usually colorful, and they can see it better than just on a worksheet. It's something that we can work together. In this class also has a couple of students that are on the high end of the reading, which they actually go to another classroom for reading. They go to the 4th grade classroom. So with them, I find that I need to ask them the harder questions where we're in the whole group part of our writing, and I will push them harder. Right now we are doing research papers, and these students that are on the higher end, I'll have them go another step beyond on their biographies and have them research interesting facts about their biographical person, and where for the most part, the whole class will not be figuring more interesting facts, but that is something that I have set aside for students that do manage to get the meat of their biographies done. Then they are able to go ahead and research farther and find more interesting facts about their person. I'll also have them figure out the timeline of their person. Thank you very much.